3 months had passed since that night when Chidi whispered, "I'm falling for you too," to Zainab through the phone. 3 months of the most careful performance of his life, juggling 2 relationships, 2 versions of himself, and an ever-growing web of lies that required a mental spreadsheet to maintain. With Zainab, things had deepened in ways Chidi hadn't anticipated. Their late-night calls had turned into study dates, then proper dates at restaurants he couldn't afford. She'd met some of his friends, carefully selected classmates who didn't know about Peculiar. They'd become the campus couple that people pointed to and said relationship goals, which made Chidi's stomach twist every time he heard it. With Peculiar, it was all performance and passion. Instagram posts and club nights. Her friends knew him as the big boy who spoiled her, though the spoiling was increasingly done with money borrowed from Peter to pay Paul, from Paul to pay Mary, until Chidi could barely remember who he owed what. The gold chain had been to the pawn shop and back 4 times. The Mercedes appearances had become more sporadic. Taya was getting suspicious about the mileage and asking too many questions. Chidi had started taking more risks, borrowing from loan apps that charged criminal interest rates, each borrowed naira buying him another week of the illusion. His phone buzzed during a morning lecture. "Peculiar, we need to talk. Come to my place after class. Important." That word again. Important. The same word that had preceded her pregnancy announcement 3 months ago. But that had been handled, or so Chidi thought. Peculiar had been vague about what she wanted to do, asking questions about their future, about his family wealth, about whether he was ready to be a father. Chidi gave answers that sounded committed but meant nothing, buying time while hoping the situation would somehow resolve itself. It hadn't. When Chidi arrived at Peculiar's off-campus apartment, a nice 2-bedroom her father paid for, the kind of place Chidi could only dream of affording, she was sitting on her bed, arms crossed, face set in an expression that made his blood run cold. "Sit down," she said. Chidi sat on the edge of the bed, his mind already racing through scenarios. Had she found out about Zainab? Had someone seen them together? Had his roommate said something? "I'm 12 weeks now, Chidi." Her hand moving to her stomach, where a small bump was just beginning to show. "That's 3 months, Chidi. 3 months of you avoiding every real conversation about this baby." "I haven't been avoiding." "Don't." Her voice was sharp. "Every time I try to talk about it, you change the subject. Every time I ask about meeting your family, you have an excuse. Every time I mention the future, you give me vague promises that sound good but mean nothing." Chidi felt sweat forming on his forehead, despite the AC. "I've just been trying to finish the semester strong before I told my father." The words hit like a physical blow. Chidi's mouth went dry. "You what?" "I told him this morning. I had to, Chidi. I'm starting to show. My mother was already suspicious." Peculiar's eyes locked onto his. "He wants to meet you. He wants to meet your family. He's talking about bride price and traditional marriage and making sure his grandchild has a proper home." Chidi stood up, pacing. His mind was spinning. Peculiar's father was actually wealthy. Real wealth, not borrowed wealth. The kind of man who would expect to meet Chidi's parents, see their home, discuss family business and connections. The kind of man who would know fake when he saw it. "When?" Chidi asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "This Sunday. He's already cleared his schedule." Peculiar stood up, walking over to him. "Chidi, I love you, and I know you love me. This baby is going to seal our future together. My father is going to set us up properly. A real apartment, allowance, everything we need. But he needs to meet your family first. It's traditional." Every word was a nail in his coffin. Chidi nodded mechanically, making sounds of agreement while his brain screamed in panic. And Peculiar paused, biting her lip. "He's been asking questions about your family business, about where exactly in Ikoyi your house is. He knows people, Chidi, important people. He wants to make sure you are who you say you are." There it was, the beginning of the end. "Of course," Chidi heard himself say. "I'll arrange everything. Sunday is perfect." Peculiar smiled, relaxing. I knew you would. This is going to be amazing, Chidi. Our families coming together, making everything official. My father is already talking about setting you up in his company after graduation. She wrapped her arms around him, and Chidi held her, feeling like a man hugging someone while drowning, knowing that any second he'd have to let go and sink. He left her apartment in a daze. Sunday, 4 days away. 4 days to produce a wealthy family for Peculiar's father, a house in Ikoyi, a believable backstory that would survive scrutiny from a man who actually moved in those circles. Impossible. His phone rang. Zainab. Baby, where are you? I've been waiting at the library. We have that group presentation to work on, remember? Chidi had completely forgotten. I'm on my way. Sorry, something came up. It's okay. Oh, and good news. My mother wants to meet you. She's been a bit strict about me dating, but I've told her so much about you that she's actually excited. Can you believe it? This Saturday, she wants you to come for dinner. She's already planning the menu. Saturday, Chidi repeated weakly. I know it's soon, but she's traveling next week and she really wants to meet you before she goes. You're free, right? Please say you're free. I'm free, Chidi lied, because what else could he say? Perfect. I'm so nervous. My mother is very traditional, very protective. But I've told her how responsible you are, how come from a good family, how serious you are about your future. She's impressed, Chidi. She actually said I chose well. Each word was a knife. Chidi closed his eyes, leaning against a wall. I can't wait for her to meet you, Zainab continued. She's already talking about proper courtship and meeting your parents eventually. You know how Muslim mothers are. Everything has to be done right. Yeah, Chidi managed. Everything right. They talked for a few more minutes, Zainab's excitement palpable, before Chidi begged off with an excuse about bad signal. He stood on the sidewalk, students flowing around him, his phone feeling heavy in his hand. Saturday, dinner with Zainab's mother, where he'd have to be the responsible, well-bred boyfriend from a good family. Sunday, meeting with Peculiar's father, who wanted to verify his entire existence. And in his account, 23,000 naira. Not even enough for one good performance, let alone 2. His phone buzzed again. His mother. Chidi, your sister is crying. They sent her home today from school. The principal said no return until fees are paid. Please, my son, I've tried everything. It's 75,000 naira. Do you have it? Then another message, this one from an unknown number. This is your final reminder. Your loan of 50,000 naira is overdue by 15 days. Interest has increased to 45%. Total due 72,500 naira. Pay within 48 hours or face legal action. Another buzz. Tayo, his uncle's business partner. Chidi, I need to see you about the car. Someone saw you using it last weekend. We need to talk. The messages kept coming, each one another crack in the dam he'd built. Chidi stared at his phone, at the impossible mathematics of his life, and felt the performance finally, completely slipping from his control. He couldn't produce a wealthy family for Peculiar's father. He couldn't be the responsible suitor for Zainab's mother. He couldn't pay his sister's school fees. He couldn't pay back the loans. He couldn't maintain the lie anymore. But he also couldn't tell the truth, because the truth would destroy everything, both relationships, his reputation, his family's hope, his mother's pride in having a son in university, his sister's image of her big brother, everything. Chidi started walking, no destination in mind, just movement because standing still felt like drowning. He walked past the faculty buildings where people knew him as the big boy, past the parking lot where he'd pretended to own cars, past the spots where he'd performed wealth and confidence and success. His phone buzzed one more time. Zainab, baby, I just felt so happy I had to text you again. I've been praying for someone like you, Chidi. Someone genuine, someone real, someone I can build a future with. Thank you for being exactly who you are, Chidi. I love you. Chidi stopped walking, read the message again and again. Thank you for being exactly who you are. He laughed, a bitter, broken sound that made a passing student look at him strangely. Because Zainab didn't love who he was. She loved who he'd pretended to be. And when she found out the truth, and she would find out, they both would, that love would turn to disgust as fast as it would give him whiplash. 4 days until Saturday, 5 days until Sunday, and Chidi Okonkwo, campus big boy, had absolutely no idea how to survive either one. The borrowed life was coming due, and this time there was nothing left to borrow. To be continued in episode 3.